Okay, first we're going to identify the range, which is the y, if we're given the domain, which is the x. Okay, so we say that the x's, these are all the x's. First one is -4. So you would have -4 squared would give you a positive 16 minus 3, and that will give you the y being 13. So the answer would be 13 for that y. Then you also have to make -2 the x. So -2 squared is 4. So 4 minus 3 will give you 1. So the y would be 1 here. And 1.5 squared is 1.5 times 1.5 is 2.25 minus 3, and that would give you a negative 1.75, I believe. Let's just check it. So if I subtract 3.00 minus 2.25. So once I subtract that, this is a 5, 7. So you've already just 0.75 would be that answer. And that would be a negative because this was a positive and the 3 was a negative. So that would give you a negative 0.75. Okay, that will be on the test. The graph of the equation x equals 4 graphs what kind of line? X equals 4. So if you were to just graph this and you find 4 and you're a line through 4, what kind of line is that? That is a vertical line. So x equal graphs a vertical line. It graphs a vertical line. That's a TI. And so x equal graphs a vertical line. So y equals, so if this was a 3, that means the line would be like this. What type of line does y equals? It graphs a horizontal line. Horizontal line. Now here, number 3 is find the slope and y-intercept of the following line here. So in order to do that, you have to change the equation into y equals. So to do that, you have to move the 3x to the right, to the other side of the equal sign. So the tx changes from a positive to a negative 3x. And you still have plus 8. Now since this is in y-intercept form, you can determine what is the slope. So we see the slope is always by the x, so the slope is -3. So we find that the slope is -3 and the y-intercept is 8. Now it says, what is the equation of the line going through points 4 and 5? You can use the point slope method. And remember, point slope is y minus y1 equals the slope, which is the m, times x minus x1. So first of all, you got to determine what's the slope of these 2 points. You determine the slopes by subtracting the y and then subtract the x. So if we're going to subtract the y, we're going to have 9 minus 5 will give us 4. Then we're going to subtract the x, and we have 6 minus 4 give us 2. So we can reduce that so we know the slope is 2. So that's the M. Now we're going to use one of these points. It doesn't matter which one. So I'm just going to use this one and plug it into this formula. Y minus, what's our Y? 5 equals, this M is 2. X minus, what's our X here? It's 4. Now just distribute. You're going to get 2x minus 8. And I'm just going to bring down the y minus 5. Now, continue solving this. We're going to add 5 to both sides. Now we have it in y equals. So we have y equals, because those 5's cancel, 2x minus 3, because you're subtracting 5 from the 8. This is the equation of a line going to the points. This is the equation. Now this problem is similar to the problems that we've had on the last test. So to solve the inequality, we're going to go minus 6 on both sides. So you have this is 42. And you have less than a negative 7x. And remember, when you have a negative, you're going to divide by negative, and you have to remember to reverse the sign. So you're going to change this direction of the sign to greater than. So x is greater than 6. And it's going to be a negative 6, because a negative divided into a positive is a negative. It says, what is the inequality shown at the right? So let's look. Starts with negative 2 and is shaded in. When it's shaded, that means it is, and it's going to the left, that means it's less than or equal to. So our x is less than or equal to a negative 2. So that is the inequality. X less than or equal to negative 2. What is the inequality shown here? So we see in the graph we're starting at our y-intercept, which is positive 4. So that's a plus 4. Now we can count in order to determine what the slope is, rise over run. So if we go down 4, that means a negative 4, over, you move over 6, positive 6. And we see this is a negative slope. So negative 4 over 6, positive 6, reduces to 2/3. That is our slope. That is the slope of the line, which is 2/3 x. And you just put the y equals, because you know the equation for slope intercept is y equals mx plus b. So where b is the y-intercept, so you see 4, b is the y-intercept, and the slope is rise over run. The slope is m, which we see the slope is negative. It's going down. There you go. Negative 2 over 3x. The next one is find the equation of a line at the right. That's what we're going to do. First of all, we have to know what is the y-intercept. And remember, the equation of a line is in the form of y equals mx plus b, whereas b is the y-intercept. So we see the y-intercept is negative 4, so I'll write that down. And so what is the slope? What is the rise over run? So I could go up from this point to this point. I go up 2, and I go over 3. It's the same, but this time it's a positive. So because the line is going upward. So it's positive 2 over 3x, and just put the y equals. So when you're going to write the equation of a line, it's y equals mx plus b. This is the slope, and this is the B or the y-intercept where it crosses. So if you fill in the other blanks here, rise over run to find the slope, and we see this is 2 over 3. And the equation of a line is right here. Okay, use the following picture for numbers 21 to 25. Let's look at it. As angle ABC is a right angle. So you see angle ABC is a right angle, so that is yes. Because it forms a 90-degree angle here. Angle ABC is a right angle. Angle 3 and 4, what types of angles? So you see angles 3 and 4, and then it adds up to be 90 degrees. So we know when two angles add up to be 90 degrees, they are called complementary angles. So we know that's complementary angles. So if the measure of angle 4 is 43, okay, then what is the measure of angle 3? So you would have to subtract 90 or 43 from 90. And we see here, this is a 7, and this was a 3, 4 rather. So this is 47. It's 47. So if a measure of angle 4 is 43, then the measure of angle 3, they are not congruent. So they are not congruent. So mark through that. Because this is measure of angle 4 and angle 3, they're 90. They are complementary angles. Okay, supplementary angles, it's 180. Okay, so looking at 13, the measure of angle 1 here is 3x minus 13, and the measure of angle 4 is x plus 19. So these are what? So we see here, for these angles, get my pen back, these are vertical angles because they're across from each other. Okay, so since these are vertical angles, they are congruent. That means they're equal. So I set them equal to each other, set these values equal to each other, and solved for x. So I have x equals 16. Number 14, it says BD is a bisector. So you see BD right here of angle CBE. Okay, so it says that this angle BD bisects angle CBE. And if you want to find the measure of angle 3 is equal to 5x plus 5. Find x. So you see here, if it bisects it, that's saying that that angle is a 45-degree angle. So I'm setting this angle 3 equal to 45 and solving. That's how I get the value of x is 8. Okay, we're on meeting number 16, and we're going to use this picture. Um, and we know that line L and M are parallel. So list the rules for the measure of each angle. So we know that, what do we know about each angle? So write that down. Okay, you use these notes to determine what these angles are. So if you have vertical angles or congruent, so you know that 3 is vertical from 2, and you're going to find all of them. So list the ones that are congruent. Corresponding angles are congruent. That means that a corresponding angle is like 2 and 6. That means if they're put on top of each other, they are congruent. Same side interior angles are supplementary. So if they're on the same side and inside the transverse, or inside the two parallel lines, same side interior angles are supplementary. That means they have to be 180. Alternate interior angles are congruent. That means they're equal to each other. And exterior angles, like you have the 2 and the 8, exterior angles are supplementary. That means it equals 180. So list the rules and measures for each angle.